Hi everyone, and welcome to another Tribe Forex Power Hour. I am Marcello, and with me is Nino, a pro Forex trader. And today is March 4th, 2014. We're going to do today what we've done for years, which is an analysis of the markets and evaluation of our strategies, which are based upon the 5 p.m. Eastern Time close of our daily bars and our 4-hour bars. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So we're going to cover how it works, how we make money in this market. We're also going to do our daily market analysis and cover any trades we may have taken or any biases that we had given previously. Okay, so how it works. Our formula for success is to do our 5 p.m. market analysis to determine the bias. So after 5 p.m. is when we take a look at the market and determine what our bias is going to be. What is our bias? Our bias is the probability that price will either go up or go down. Now we have two ways to execute that bias. One is to take a set and forget it trade. And the second one is to day trade in the direction of our bias using our pods, our points of decision for bigger profits. If you don't know what a pod is, simply go to www.tribeforex.com and check out our free trading course that we have up there. And guys, if you really want to day trade, just join Nino in our live trade room that we have on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, and then again at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, where they do what we call big pipping. They get lots of pips in the market, collect those big pips. So that's what we're going to do going forward. Let's take a look at the market and see where it is for us. All right, so let's talk about the pound dollar, just because I have the pound dollar up here. And what we see is we see a long-standing trend line. Okay, we see a long-standing trend line that was there since back in August of 2013. 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches, 4 touches, 5 touches, and now we've just had our 6th touch here, and we're actually getting into an apex here. And we could have a breakout like we did down here, and so we could have a retest here. We've already tested it once. More likely than not, if we're not going to have a breakout, there's no new information in the market, we're going to see a buy. All right, so why do we think there's going to be a buy here? We think there's going to be a buy here because of this trend line that we have, and because we have an area of support just under there at 166.39. So about 20 pips away, there is another area of support there, and there's really not a lot to hold it back and cause it to not move upward. We've got about 100 pips going to the upside from where we are now, from 66.39 to 67.29 or 67.40 in that vicinity. We have that area of resistance right above there. So we've got plenty of space to have a move up on the pound dollar, and so we're going to say pound dollar buy. Now yesterday we said pound dollar buy as well because we were abutting this area as well. And as you can see, what happened is that the market did move up. Okay, so it moved up. In fact, the bias was dead on because although we closed red, the maximum favorable excursion, the majority of that bar went to the upside, 53 pips to the upside and about 8 pips to the low side. So yes, we nailed the bias there on the pound dollar. Euro dollar was a sell, I believe, is what we in fact, did we call it a sell? Did we call it a trade on that on that, Nino? I want to say that we stayed away from.
We did. We said that it was ambiguous, but then later you said that it was a trend line.
Right. So we called it sell.
And then you decided to take the sell. Right.
Good. Okay. Yeah, we called the sell on here, and the best sell would have been, as you can see, the bar really tested the highs here, and then really closed very, very low, and closed below these two trend lines as well. I'm calling a consolidation on this euro dollar today. Not an awful lot going on here. I think there's an opportunity and a chance. As you can see, there's a previous trend line here that's still relevant, and the 61.8 that we've closed above. So I think there's a chance that the euro can actually move up, back up, and we are in a consolidation. How do I know we're in a consolidation? Because look at all these bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bars, and the bars, the price that we're currently at is within all of those bars just about. Okay, when you have 90% of your bars are within the price range, it's because price is not moving at all. Okay, so if the highs and lows are within each other and price is within that range, price is not moving, you have a consolidation, and that makes it, you've got to play the consolidation. Thank you, Nino. You're right about that. And I think that, you know, price goes down in an intersection. We have a nice intersection here for this trend line. I think there's a good place for you to take a buy potentially off of that, moving upward. And I think there's another opportunity at 37.70 and then again at 3800 to look for a sell here on the euro dollar, but it is in consolidation, as Nino pointed out to me earlier. Okay, so let's talk about the dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss yesterday, I called a definite buy on this. Why did I call it? Because we have this trend line right under it. We had price really test it, and then we had this beautiful buy signal come right out of that. And, you know, we went right up to the previous trend line, which we had actually tested and broken through. All right, so let me make this a little bit bigger so I can make this clear for you. We called a buy. Clearly, this was a buy win, so our bias was right on point. Okay. So on this one, your stop loss would have been 45 pips. Your take profit would have been at the trend line here, which is about 45 pips, and that's exactly what we got. It stopped right on the trend line. So what can happen here? This is a point of decision. At a point of decision, you're most likely to see price move up or move down, be rejected, or to be completely accepted by price, close above or below. And what we've seen here is that price is essentially hasn't done any of the above. It's basically stuck on the trend line. So our trend line is currently at 88.69, and our price closed at 88.73. So it closed right above that trend line. It's in the vicinity of that trend line. What does that mean? Technically, we could see price move up, move back up to the 50 EMA and to the trend line that we have above, the resistance trend line. But of course, we could see price move down as well. So that's what we can expect to see. We really have ambiguity here on the dollar Swiss. It's not extremely clear, and so for that reason, we can't choose a bias because there's no greater probability of price moving up or moving down. So we got to be careful for that. All right. So the New Zealand. New Zealand was one I wanted to call a sell on. And you can see here that majority of price did move down. So we did have a movement down in price here on the New Zealand. And, you know, that's what bias is. It's showing you price action. So we had about 20 pips move down to the downside, 29 pips moved to the upside, and it did close right here on the previous trend line. What we are looking for, if you get price to 84.20 or in that zone, 84.10 to 84.20, it's a good place to take a sell. This is a very strong trend line that we're looking at here on this New Zealand dollar, that resistance trend line that I've just drawn there. It passes through 1, 2, 3 points, 4 points. So if you look back here, going back to April of 2013, that's where that resistance trend line starts. For price to break through that, it's going to take an awful lot. So for that reason, I would take a sell right off of that 84.20 area or 84.10. 84.10, 84.20 in that vicinity is a great place and a really safe place to take a sell here on the New Zealand. Aussie dollar, basically we had a bounce right off of that lower trend line that we had drawn, and price moved up. And so right now we've got to be able to look for a buy here. It closed above here, and it's not an awful lot of space there. So we're looking for a bias of a buy on the Aussie dollar for the time being. Euro yen, really, guys, this trend line that we had at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, really held very strongly. You can see price went right to it and really bounced off of it. It broke the 50 EMA. It broke through all this price action here. Wow, that's all I can say. Now, what's going to happen? Well, I think that you've got to look for 140.80 to be an area of resistance here, and it's got to be an area that you consider very strongly because there's an intersection of two trend lines here, a longer trend line here and a lesser trend line, if you will, secondary trend line that runs right into each other. There's an intersection here of two trend lines, so it's very, very strong, not to mention an area of support and resistance, which is right above that at 140.97. So 140.80 and 140.97, that whole entire zone is very, very strong. So we're looking for price to get up here, and then we're going to look for a sell, potentially, if not a breakout. It would require a massive breakout to get above this area. So we're going to look for a sell here on the euro yen. Dollar yen actually is abutting what was previously an area of support. Now it is an area of resistance. So look for a potentially a sell on that. And the pound yen, Same thing, guys. Basically, we have a 61.8 fib and a trend line that's really held very strongly. So when you get to 170.89, 170.80, or to this Fibonacci's here, you're going to look for a sell. So we're getting right there. We're getting close to it at 170.50, 170.60 in that vicinity. You know, between 170.50 and 170.85, great area to really sell this pound yen off of. Very strong. Looks very, very good, guys. 170 pips potential down. I'd actually look at this pound yen for a potential trade because there's a lot of upside, a lot of opportunity there if you get there. Okay. Oil kind of bounced off that trend line here, so I'm not going to call it on it. It's still above that trend line, and so you can't really call it very clearly. If I see something technically on a pair, even though I'm not familiar with it, I will call it, but that's not the case here. So guys, just to wrap up here, let's talk about it again. Pound dollar looks like a buy. Euro dollar, we're going to wait and see what happens here. It could be a buy. We could move back up into this channel just because we have the 61.8, which is below us. We'll see what happens there. Dollar Swiss is ambiguous. We're not going to take a trade on this one. We could see price continue to move up on the dollar Swiss and really hit these areas, but it stopped dead on the pod, the point of decision here, so we can't take a trade there. Can't choose a trade here. Looking for a bounce off of 84.10 to 84.20 on the New Zealand dollar for a sell. That's what we're looking for. Aussie dollar, we're expecting price to move up, so we're looking for a buy up to 89.88. Euro yen, I think we're looking for a sell here on the euro yen from 140.81 down. Dollar yen, we're looking for a sell as well from 102.30. And pound yen, we're looking for a sell from 170.85 headed downward. So that is where we are here, guys. We're basically in consolidation. We've got consolidation movement, and so we've got to treat it in a consolidation way. So you've heard me say this repeatedly. You've heard me call trades not from a bias standpoint, but from a consolidation standpoint, which means that we're waiting for price to reach an upper limit or a lower limit, at which point we're going to sell or buy into that limit. And that's what you've heard me say here. So, guys, with that, I don't know if you have anything to add, Nino. Do you have anything to add by chance?
No.
Great.
Great call today on the biases. Just want to wish everybody good luck with their trades tomorrow. And hopefully we'll be back in the trading room on Thursday morning.
Awesome. So, guys, be prepared. Thursday, 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Nino will basically be in action for about an hour or two from 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Then he'll be back in action again at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So be there on time and get your pips. That's what we're going to be looking for. All the best, guys. We'll see you in the next session. Bye-bye. Happy trading.